Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is a new day it is, and there is some bacon here. Yeah, Topmas put this sign up. Now what's funny is when I logged on earlier today, I was over there somewhere. I walked all the way down here, walked into my base, then I walked out. I went over to the tree farm to plant down some saplings, and when I left the tree farm I saw the bacon and I thought, how on earth have I not noticed that already? Well, I've theorised that maybe the chunk didn't load. Now, chunks in Minecraft go from the floor all the way to the ceiling, but they kind of load in segments, I think, or something along those lines. And you can see this sometimes, like up there, off in the future, off in the distance, you can just about see some of the water streams, but at a certain point there, they get cut off. So I think what might have happened is that chunk where the bacon is right there was just not loaded, because I cannot understand how I walked past the farms here. Look, like, it's pretty big and obvious. I should have caught that out of the corner of my eye. And I even walked across my front garden, I guess you could call this sandy little area. Yeah, so I didn't notice it, and my theory is that the chunk bit here wasn't loading or something like that. But anyway, topmas.gov, edu, topmas.gov/edu, I don't know, will work for bacon campaign. Leave documents, leave donations in the chest, and bring work requests. So as soon as I saw this, I thought, you know what? I haven't made a bacon farm on here. We've made a cow farm. I don't think anyone else has made a pig farm, so it got me thinking that I could probably mass breed pigs. So I have an idea there for something that I could do. However, this episode, what we're actually going to be doing is going and having a little scout for a base area and talking about making a base, because I'm running out of ideas for things to do around here. There are a few more jobs that need doing, but ultimately I really want to move on to the bigger projects, and with 1.7 right around the corner, I'm kind of skeptical about whether I should be starting that, now or later, or wait until 1.7's come out. And there might even be a biome in 1.7 that comes out that I'm really interested in and maybe want to make a base in. However, I'll show you my plans for the base. I don't know why I came in here. Let me just think. Are there anything I'm going to need to bring with me? There probably is, so I'll give myself some time to figure out what I need to bring with me. But we're going to go and scout out the area that I've been looking at for quite some time, thinking this would be an ideal location for a base. So I'm on the way to the Blaze farm, and I thought I'd just tell you a little trick that I've sort of picked up on recently. Now, I've known about this for quite some time, but I've noticed something else in the F3 menu that makes this easier. So in the Nether, you often have, if you play on a server or just in a general world, long tunnels like this that get you from one location to the other. That's what the Nether's for, and sometimes we don't always set up a rail system. So what you want to do is just get from one end to the other, but what usually happens is you sprint and you kind of strafe off into a wall like this, and then you lose your sprint and then you have to reset it, and that can be kind of boring. So what I've noticed is that there is the F number. You got X, Y. Why do I call it a number? Letters. You got X, Y, and Z. I guess it's because they represent numbers, don't they? And then you've got F. Now, if you look at F, it says 1 west, and then it has slash and a number. Now, this number here changes based on like what direction you're facing, and all the other numbers are based on your position. So if you face in this direction and try and get that as close to 0, I do believe, as you can. So let's get that all the way. That's not closer. Okay, that's about as close as we're going to get, so 0.05. And then we sprint in this direction. Now what you need to look at next is the X coordinate. Now look at how slow those numbers are. I think they're going down. And basically the X means if it were to go faster, we'd be travelling more to this side, so we'd hit the wall quicker. And so if ever you've got one of these long tunnels, all you need to do is really just take a moment to line yourself up, get it all the way down to like 0.0 something, like that. And then take your hand off the mouse, double tap forward, and you'll be moving ever so slightly to the left or the right, that you'll probably won't need to readjust your position in the tunnel again. And so that is a tip there for you, a random tip. But the reason I've come over to the Blaze farm is because this is supposedly near the location I've been looking at for a long time, thinking that is ideal for the kind of base that I want to do. Now a while ago I had 100 XP levels in an episode, and I couldn't remember how I got them all. It was like an off-camera thing, I was playing on the server in between, and I kept asking myself, how did I get all those levels? And I kept rattling my brain. I thought I didn't get them from the Enderman farm, and how on earth did I get so many levels? And I completely forgot that we had the Blaze farm, which is still working by the looks of it. It is deactivated at the moment, which is good. We don't have a system for actually deactivating the spawners themselves, so whenever you come here, that makes a lot of noise, doesn't it? Let's turn that down a bit. Anyway, we're going to go through the portal and have a look. Now, my admist program the other day just stopped working. I don't know what had changed on my computer, but it decided it didn't want to work anymore, and so I can't actually bring up a admist map with the coordinate location of where I want to go. But I do have a map on my other screen. We took a picture of the mist and labelled where everyone was and all of their bases and stuff like that, so we could send it to other members. And so I'm kind of guessing where I am at the moment. So we have we have a river and some plains and sand biomes, so I can kind of see where we are. Now, I think this might actually take me a little bit longer to figure out. I thought I'd come here and it'd be fairly obvious where I am on the map. Yeah, it might take me a while to figure this out. So am I facing... Okay, if I'm facing west, then I'm fairly sure I know where I am. I'm facing east. Oh. Well, actually, I could be on the other side, because there is a village over there in the distance, and supposedly, now that I look at the map and think about it, there's also a jungle or a desert temple over here. So if we see that, I know exactly where I am, and I thought I was standing on the other side of this. Let's throw an ender pearl and make this a lot quicker. And... I don't see a desert temple structure. That's the noise that the villagers make. But I do see the well over there. I don't know if that counts as structure of that type, and the world isn't loading fast enough for me, so let's encourage that. This is quite a big little desert village right here. Got some lightning bugs, and there it is, a sort of corrupted half-spawn temple. So I know exactly where I am now. I actually have to head in that direction, which is east, and I was just noticing that the sun was setting, so I was thinking maybe I can make a bed, but you know what, I didn't bring any wool with me. You never really think these things through. I had a look, and the only thing I could really think of bringing were ender pearls. But there's wool here because of this desert temple, and there's a load of water as well that has a source block that is there. And where's the other one? There. Is that right? Okay, that gets rid of that. Anyway, I'm going to make a bed and wait for it to turn night. Whoa! Oh, no, don't do that, mate. He decided to jump on the cactus. Get off of there. Oh, I can't hit him. Oh, that was strange. Is this some sort of magical cactus? Oh. Looks like I got some roommates for the night. Oh, now I can't put down the bed. They've all come into this one. Oh, guys. You can have that one. I'll go somewhere else. There we go. Lots of space in this room. So, I do believe I now know what direction I'm heading in. It's this direction, I think, is the way that we came from. Let's just double check that. East, that's correct. So I now know where I am on the map. I have to head all the way across this desert biome. Then there's a... I think it's flatlands? Plains, even? One of those biomes, and then on the other side is the biome that I'm looking at. So I will continue recording when I get there. So this is definitely the right place. There's an ocean biome over there, and there's a big desert biome. Now this is a very big desert biome, and you guys know I like my wastelands, so you can kind of guess probably what I'm going to be up to if this is the place that I'm going to settle my base at. So this thing should be big enough that when you're in the middle of it you can't see anything but the sand biome all the way around. However, now that I'm here, and I'm seeing that actually I think I'm wrong about that, because there's this middle bit here in the middle. Now on Admist it shows you it as being a slightly darker colour, and that means that it's a hilly area, and so I can see how close that is in relation to this part up here, and we're not that far from the ocean, so actually this probably isn't going to be the ideal location for my base. However, I'm now looking at the map for other locations. There's one further away that is absolutely enormous, and it has a... oh, this is interesting. I've seen this a few times on this seed, and I've said it so many times before. I'm not someone who really like... I always like the idea of exploring, but I don't ever just open up seeds and explore to see what's around. However, this seed, I've said it before, is brilliant. There's always interesting things, tons of ravines everywhere. You can see this is quite uncommon, at least it is to me, just a flat stone area. There used to be a lot of this back in 1.7.3, but since then I haven't really seen a lot of it. So what I was hoping for with this location was being able to turn it into a wastelands biome, but when I'm in the middle in my base area, I can look around and see nothing but wastelands as far as the eye goes. And I could, you know, rip down these other biomes, but that one is a snowy one, so that means snow will get laid on top of the stone. And also there's an ocean over there, so it's a hell of a lot of work. I kind of like the idea of that though, you know, a long project where I can do some repetitive mining, and I was thinking that maybe we'd build a base underground and use some of the sandstone as a main building material, although I do have some other ideas. And this whole time while I've been doing projects around spawn, I have actually been writing out a list of things that I want to do in my base, and most of them focus around unique ideas, you know, not like I want to make a cow farm, I want to do this farm. It's more other little details that I'm focusing on, because there's always some sort of farm that you can make, and I need to eat. So my plan for this was to make this wasteland biome, and in the middle of it have like a big hole that leads underground, and then a tower that comes out of that hole. And so as I expand the base underground, that's kind of what I wanted to do. I could maybe make other towers that come out and look around, and would leave the surface completely unlit and just have loads of mobs on there and light up all the caves underneath. And so what I'm really interested in is just creating a unique environment in the game, because all these farms and mob traps, you know, they've been done time and time again, and I think it would be really nice to go for a more creative thing and not worry about having, you know, a perfect perimeter where no mobs can spawn, but go for something where it's more of a unique environment to be in. And so I was thinking, for a mob trap, you could possibly then build one up in the sky, or maybe just have one underground again, like I did on Avalon, and then it would only work in the day, with the exception of creepers who would survive the night. But then I could use the Nether to leave the area perhaps, and I could travel from the central area all the way, say 128 blocks over there, and as soon as I go into the world it would most likely despawn most of those creepers. So there'll be ways around it using the game's mechanics. Now, if I continue going in this direction, we're actually going to see Mumbo Jumbo's base, which I think we'll have a quick look at on the way back. And I think what I actually want to do is go and scout out this even larger location that I've now noticed. But today we're not going to be doing a lot, no building, nothing much like that, because basically I don't have the time. If you watched my video that I put out on the weekend, actually I think it was the Hermitcraft one, I left a comment in the comment box saying that I was going to be testing my Gold Rush server, and it was going to be like an open public test. I gave away the IP, which if you're interested in joining in the testing is gr.xpd.im. I will probably put something on the screen just to make sure you get the right thing. And no, this is right. Yeah, there's an extreme hills biome, and then there's Mumbo's base on the other side. So yeah, the testing was supposed to happen on the Saturday, and there were lots of problems, and then we thought, okay, let's get them all fixed and do it on Sunday, and then there were more problems, and there's probably going to be more problems again. So at this point, look, a ravine, and it goes all, wow, that is so cool. What did I say about this seed, eh? It's brilliant. There we go, just wandering around having a talk, we can actually find some cool things as well, which is pretty awesome. But we decided that the best way to do things from now on is, rather than say, let's get everything done by this date and do a test, that we should just continuously work on it until we know it's ready for a test, and we can say, yep, this is definitely ready for a test, and then we'll open it up to the public, and we're going to have a few like public testing things while we roll out all of the final features. And so if you're interested in playing, if you haven't seen Gold Rush before, I'll put a link in the description box. The server is basically Gold Rush 1.5, which was a map I was developing. It was basically a remake of Gold Rush, and then it turned into a server. So I'm not going to be releasing that map. However, it's free to play, and there's going to be more maps in the future and things like that. But I don't want to go into too much detail because we're still in the testing stages. Just know, if you want to bookmark that IP address in your Minecraft browser, then if ever you see, well, actually it always appears online, so whenever it says it's open, I'll have to put a message on there so it says it's closed, then you'll be welcome to come on and play, basically. And there'll be more than just Gold Rush in the future. There's lots of other games in the works, and I really need to figure out what I'm doing at the moment because I'm just running into hills. But anyway, Mumbo's base is somewhere over the other side of this hill. And a few seconds later, here it is. There you go, there's Mumbo's mob trap. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you probably watch Mumbo as well. We've done some videos together. We've done the, what was it, the ceiling armor equipper. He helped me with the redstone on that because my redstone was hideous and not survival friendly. And we've done the speed challenge together, so I'm sure most of you guys know who Mumbo is. But this is his area over here. There's random mushrooms. That's crazy. I wonder if they escaped from somewhere. Now, I was watching Hermitcraft last night, Mumbo's episode, and I didn't get to watch all of it. I got cut off before the end, but I think at some point he actually went to King Happy's base, and I think he's been pranked. I think I'm not supposed to show this. Yep, nothing to see there. Don't worry about that. And I'm not going to read these signs either because they've probably got something to do with it as well. All I'm going to say is keep your eye out for that. There's the Hermitcraft Reddit. All the videos get posted there. So if you're interested in seeing what's happened there, I'm not going to say who's pranked Mumbo, but Mumbo has been pranked. So you'll have to look out for that. Looks like Top Mass has been doing some work clearing out this area. Anyway, I'm going to have to go on a long journey to get to this place. So I need to gather some more food and more ender pearls. And I'll probably record the journey and maybe cut it out of the episode just in case I find anything interesting again, because my experience with this seed and this world is that there are just tons of cool things to see. So here we are at the Pixel Nerds base. This is the only building I think they've done so far. It is a windmill house which looks really nice, but I've got to point out that if this thing was to be activated, the wing would spin into the top of the house there, so that's a little bit of bad design. I'm only joking though, it looks great. That's a very cool building. I do like that. Anyway, we are heading in the direction of east, which is over here, and slightly north as well. And there should be a bulk of water in front of us, and then on the other side of that we are heading over to the desert biome. Now I said I was going to record again when I got over there, but I remembered that I only just touched on earlier about the biome changes, so some of you may be wondering what's going to happen with that, and I think I can explain the important details about the biome changes. But what I know is that sooner or later there's going to be a snapshot coming out. We all know that, not just me. And it should be in a couple of weeks before we get shouldn't be any more than a couple of weeks before we get our first snapshot, and so I'm kind of waiting off till we get that and I can figure out what's concrete about the changes. So first of all, I'm pretty sure that when they changed the format of the worlds to something called Anvil, it meant that biomes kept their properties. So when you generate a new area of land, say in the snapshot where it has new generation code to create the new biomes, then it's going to create chunk borders and all the biomes are going to be completely different. Now what used to happen is those changes would apply to the entire map. So where these blocks had already been generated, it would treat them as if they were generated in the new snapshot or whatever it is, and it would apply the biomes to them. So if you had a desert biome, all of a sudden that could become a snowy biome and there'll be snowing in there and all sorts of things like that. So that is a really important thing that I find that out 100%. I'm fairly sure it's true. I'm going to double check and see if I can find some information on it. And if that is, then it means settling down in this desert biome that I'm going to go and look at won't be too much of a big risk because it's actually going to stay as that biome. Now one thing that is very likely to change and has probably already changed already is structures. Now the way I understand it from what other people have told me, the structures are placed based on an algorithm, and if you add a new structure type to the whole structures algorithm or whatever, it's going to change the initial algorithm, which means when you load a world, like the biomes and how they had fixed positions, well they have fixed positions now but they didn't do in the past, all these structures are going to change their position. So that is one of the reasons why I haven't continued work on the wither farm. Now I've still been trying to design a wither farm and I've come up with a few I'd say advancements towards something that I like, but I've kind of been demotivated because after all that work, taking all the items over there, getting prepared to set that up, I found out that structures had not been moved over to this anvil system. So it means that basically it's very likely that we are going to lose any witch farms or strongholds, and we have a quad witch farm on this seed as well. That's one of the reasons we picked this seed, and it would be very unfortunate to lose that because that was going to become a big community project at one point, and yeah, we can't do that if the seed changes. Anyway, I need to get out of here and get over to the desert biome. Look over there, it's a witch hut. This is the witch hut that Biffa was initially going to set up his base at, but there is a river that runs right through it, and it only has 7 spawning spaces, so that is a pretty useless witch hut right there, but it could be completely redundant if this whole seeds thing changes. Now I just realised something, if it does change, it applies to structures, so I don't know how that works in the overworld because the biomes get to stay the same. I'm pretty sure it affects it in the nether. However, if the witch hut positions change, you could end up with a random witch hut in your base or something like that, which could be a blessing in disguise, but most likely it will end up somewhere completely useless. Anyway, I think it's just over the other side of this biome now, so it shouldn't be long before we get there. I see sand. This is good. This is the biome. Now we should be on the lookout for a river. There should be one right in front of us. Here it is. And then the river is going to go into the... Oh, someone's already been here. Oh no. Oh, I'm sure there'll be some other big desert biomes if someone's already taken this. Oh, it looks like someone is already here. Well, there's a pillar. Maybe there's some signs to read. Maybe someone's thinking of using this area. Looks like someone is getting set up, that's for sure. There's also a spawner here. This might be the place that King Happy came to. He found 2 spawners close to each other. Let's see what's in the chest. That will give us a sign if someone's... Yeah, derp items. So maybe someone isn't settling down here. I'll have to find out who made that. But that would have been convenient to travel through the nether to get here. But anyway, this is going to be desert as far as we can see, and the centre of the area is actually further over in this direction. So you can see there's a big hill. I'm just comparing this to the map of a mist. More big hills over there. I mean, this would be a fantastic place to make a base if we turned it all into wasteland biomes. It would be really breathtaking, I think. So if we go a little further in this direction, we should find the river. I think it's going to go just over there somewhere. There it is. Yep, going behind those hills. And so the river does run a little close to some other biomes over in this direction. And look at that. Something else very cool about this biome. We have some interesting looking overhang. That is seriously cool. I like this a lot. I do. So this bit, yeah, it does come close to another biome. However, as we head further in this direction, we will get further and further into the middle. And in the middle, on top of these hills, there should be a desert temple. Now there's another pillar here that makes me think someone else has been in this area looking for things. And there you go, there's the desert temple. And all around, as far as we can pretty much see, with the exception of that area over there, it's pretty much all... It's like a little natural bridge over there. We'll have to check it out. Yeah, pretty much all desert. Now, one thing I'd have to do is figure out the whole radius of the render distance, and then put that on the admist map and figure out exactly where the corners were, so we could figure out the most central location possible. And I don't think this thing has an entrance the way it's formed. And then that way, when you are standing in the middle, you won't see any of the other biomes. And I'd probably remove the river biome as well and just replace that with those just random stone bricks, so it looks like it's a part of it. So that little bridge that I spied, it is actually floating sand, which is very cool. And I've got a feeling if we go down here, this is going to look pretty awesome as well. Interesting looking sand mountains there with lots of floating sand. But now that I've come here, I've got to say there's some pretty spectacular scenery here in this desert biome, but I do feel like it's not quite big enough for the project that I want. So it'll probably be a good idea having a lot bigger search over Admist if I could get that to work again. And by the way, I don't know if any of you use it, but it used to work for me, and then one day it randomly stopped working, and I'd try it from time to time. It would never work, and then one day it randomly started working again, and then it stopped. So if anyone knows why that is, or they have an idea or solution, please post a comment or send me a message, because I'd love to get it working again. It's really quite annoying not having it available, because I want to look at the Hermitcraft map and scout for new areas, and I want to do that when there's new snapshots as well, so we can figure out how all the new biomes are laid out and how the continents work, because it does look like continents are going to be a lot different from how they are at the moment. Like each continent's going to be themed with a set of biomes that fit together well, which is actually something that makes a lot of sense, because in this game you get desert biomes next to snow biomes, which really don't make sense at all. So that's going to be a good feature. So I hope you all don't mind the whole walk and talk style episode for this one. I've just been really busy. Basically, the weekend was all spent doing Gold Rush stuff, and I was planning on doing some Hermitcraft, but I couldn't, so I kind of lost all my time to do this. So I thought, you know what, there are things that I want to talk about and things that we need to investigate and do, so we'll do that for this episode instead. And also on the last episode, I asked you for feedback about the speed challenge. Loads of people posted comments saying they liked it, and I didn't really have the time to reply to everyone, so I just wanted to say, if you didn't get replied, thank you very much for all the feedback. It was really nice to see that a lot of people did like the idea, because we very much like it, and at the moment we're talking about when we're going to record the next one. So you might see that on the weekend if everything goes to plan, although you can never be 100% sure with these things. And so anyway, I'm going to head back to spawn and see if there's anything else that I need to do. So there isn't really much to be done at the moment, and as of right now I actually need to stop recording, render this video and get it uploaded. So the one or two little jobs that I thought I could do, I guess I'll just do later and show you them next time. So one thing that we don't have a lot of in the Hermitcraft town is signs, and we need signs on the buildings. Everyone has been saying it, so I think I will take up that duty and go around and make sure every building is well and truly signed. I also think I might assign like a unique block to it, so when you look at a building, you look for the block and then you're like, okay, there's the sign, and let's find out what it is. Although that could be a little intrusive on people's buildings, you know, adding extra blocks to it, so I might not do that. The other thing I want to do as well is rearrange some of the dirt blocks in the tree farm and find an optimal way to grow those. I think we can store a lot more trees in there than I'm growing at the moment. But that is going to be it for this episode. Let me know if you like the idea for the base, or if you have any suggestions for things I could do in my base as well. As I said though, we're not going to be starting that anytime soon. We've got 1.7 around the corner, and we really need to wait until I know exactly what's going to happen with the biomes, and maybe there could be a new biome as well. We just saw a little bit of cactus break off there. Some people have been asking what this is, by the way. It's just a little AFK cactus farm. So the signs here, they act like blocks, and when there's a block in, let's see, this space here, then when the cactus grows, which it still does, it actually breaks the block and it clips off. So sometimes it falls onto the cactus, sometimes it falls into the water. If you do that with signs instead of a solid block, then there's more space for the cactus to fall onto. So it doesn't hit the edge of the block and then fall back on the cactus, it falls into air and drops down. Yeah, so that's what that is. I've totally lost my train of thought, but that's going to be it for this episode. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.